Good morning. My name is Bill Surratt, and it's my great honor to welcome you here this morning for the unveiling of Vicksburg's 5th Blues Trail marker on the Mississippi Blues Trail. Today's unveiling represents the 140th marker that have been unveiled in the state of Mississippi. Today we honor the legacy of Tom Wentz and the Blue Room. I think that from the turnout here today, we can see what an impact this establishment that was just across the street here had on the culture of Vicksburg. At this time, I would like to introduce Mayor Paul Winfield, who has words of welcome. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Mayor.
How are you doing? Good to see you.
Good morning again, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. I'd like to thank everyone who helped make today possible as we commemorate a legacy here in the Vicksburg community. I'd like to also extend a warm welcome to the Wentz family. You guys know very well the contribution that Mr. Tom Wentz made to this community. As we sit back and we reflect upon the history here in Vicksburg and the many great talents, so many to name, who performed here in Vicksburg and helped create a great living experience, is very overwhelming to consider today. So I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. This is a very small token of symbolism to show our appreciation for what an icon contributed to our community.
Thank you, Mayor Winfield. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. If I start naming names, I'll get in trouble, but I have several board members here from the Vicksburg Convention and Visitors Bureau. If y'all could wave and say hello. And employees, city officials, people from the state, we welcome you all and thank you for coming to Vicksburg and coming downtown to celebrate our heritage. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dr. Edgar Smith, and he was a child here and went off to fame and fortune and has come back to join us. Thank you, Edgar.
Thank you. I'm still a child. My name is, as you said, Edgar Smith, and I'm a member of the Mississippi Blues Commission, and it's my pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the commission to this unveiling. And this unveiling is special to me, and I will tell you why a little later on. But first of all, I think I'd like to tell you a little bit about what the Blues Commission is so that you'll know something about the body that's responsible for developing this Blues Trail. And so in order not to goof up, I'm going to read it. The Mississippi Blues Commission was organized in October 2003 by executive order and legally reconstituted in 2004 by the state legislature to, quote, promote authentic Mississippi blues music and blues culture for purposes of economic development, and to authorize the commission to, quote, purchase and erect Mississippi Blues Trail historical markers with the assistance of the Mississippi Department of Transportation. More specifically, it authorizes the commission to establish a statewide Mississippi Blues Trail infrastructure to offer to tourists and targeted groups a structured tour of Mississippi's blues historical sites and performance venues. It is clear that the Commission's assignment includes not only promoting the blues as a major part of American culture, but it also has the potential of making a significant contribution to improve the economic status of those from whom it derived. I always like to emphasize that point when I'm talking about the Blues Trail. There's an economic development aspect to this whole project, which I hope will benefit those from whom the blues derive. And I will hope that the unveiling of this, my wife is telling me to turn this on. Can you hear me?
It's just for the TV.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so it's just for the TV, honey. Well, in any event, I hope that this blues marker will make a significant contribution to the economic development of Vicksburg. Now, the Blues Trail will be composed of over 150 historical markers and interpretive sites located throughout the state. The markers are funded by grants from the National Endowment for the Arts, the National Endowment for the Humanities, and the Mississippi Department of Transportation. Additional support for each marker has been provided by the Mississippi Development Authority, Tourism Division, Delta State University, and local convention and visitors bureaus. Some of these sites will eventually employ the latest technology to allow visitors to hear the sounds and view the music associated with the location. So you'll be able to download some music from this location, which is really fantastic. We're also developing a Blues Trail map that will provide directions, GPS coordinates, and so forth. And under the leadership of, let me let this truck pass by first. Got a little competition out here. Under the leadership, okay, under the leadership of Mr. Alex Thomas of the Tourism Division of the Mississippi Development Authority, there's Alex right here. We've done, as said, 140 markers, and we have put up 4 in Vicksburg. This will be the 5th. Now, this is my former presentation, but I'd just like to say a couple of words because this is of special significance to me. Because although I was born up in the Delta, Mississippi, up in Hollandale, Mississippi, I moved to Vicksburg when I was 12 years old and graduated 8th grade from what was then Cherry Street, which became McIntyre. Okay, and from there I went to Bowman High. Some of you remember Bowman High. Graduated Bowman High in 1951. Okay, and the important thing for me was when I came from the Delta, I was a country boy coming from the Delta, and one of the things that I heard about was the Blue Room. Now, I had come from a land of juke joints. Okay, I know what to expect in juke joints. But my father was a staunch Baptist, which meant that I wasn't supposed to go to the Blue Room. Now, well, you know when you aren't supposed to do things, what do? Thank you. So I managed to sneak down to the Blue Room and to see what it was all about. And I said, my God, this is nothing like I'm accustomed to. I mean, this wasn't like the Harlem Club in Hollandale, you know, where they were juking on Saturday night and they were having fun. But this was a classy joint. And that's what the Blue Room is, and that's how the Blue Room has impressed me. The Blue Room was Stevens Rose Room, like Stevens in Jackson. It was Vicksburg's Stevens Rose Room. You had the Crystal Palace and Stevens Rose Room in Jackson, but you had the Blue Room in Vicksburg. And even though I did not experience it as much as I would like to, I experienced it enough to know what it was all about. And it is a real pleasure and an honor for me to be here, and I have one of my classmates in the audience. I got to recognize her, Miss Catherine Curry. She's class of 1951 Bowman High, and I may have some others if I do identify yourself. But it's an honor for me to be here, to be a part of the recognizing this great institution that has done so much for the culture of not only Vicksburg, but for the state. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. In talking to the Wentz family about who would speak for the family, I talked to Billy and Wardell, and they're both retired military, and it's kind of a coin toss as to who would speak, and there was some implication that they might outspeak one another. So on the coin toss, Mr. Wardell came up to be the first speaker. Mr. Wardell?
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank all of the people involved in this event. And I'm sure our father would be quite proud. Now I would like to acknowledge my family. If you would, raise your hand, the Wentz family, and also the Reagan family. These are the Reagan family. These are my cousins. You start checking these blood tests, you'll find out we're related to a lot of folks. Yeah. But anyway, just about covered everything about how many bands played down here, well-known artists. T-Bone Walker, you didn't mention Lionel Hampton, Bobby Blue Bland, of course, and B.B. King. And I have to tell the story about B.B. King. They appeared in Memphis that Friday night, and they were due to appear down here that Saturday. Park right there on the corner. The band members got off the bus. They had reservations over here at Jimmy Foot's place, the lodgings. The bus driver was the last one to exit the bus. So as soon as he began to exit the bus, the steering wheel came off. So they had to get somebody to repair that before leaving to go somewhere. I think it was New Orleans, someplace down there. But anyway, And I know you probably heard about Louis Armstrong. Anyway, I went to sleep up there behind the bar in the skyline on some empty boxes, beer bottles. Excuse me, because I'm not used to handling the mic, I'm telling you. I'm used to moving my hand. But anyway, they didn't find me until about 7 o'clock that morning. I was a little tiny fella. Everybody referred to me as Little Wardell. And would you believe I didn't talk much when I was a child? I made up for it, I think, the years went by. The Marine Corps brought it out in me as far as they molded me into what I call a real man. They took me down so low I didn't think I was going to ever get up. But I made it. But they didn't know what they were creating. But anyway, I want to mention they're also a female band. I think the Sweethearts of Razor Ribbon. Anybody remember those ladies? Big band, okay. I want to thank Mrs. Waring also, Mr. Parker. Mrs. Waring, where are you? That's you right there. And anybody else. And I also want to mention my nephew, which I'm real proud of, warrant officer in the Marine Corps, Takapumi. Very intelligent young fellow. And who else? Miss Peggy, been knowing her. She and Toya, my sister, was real close, grew up together. Tommy, hadn't seen her in a while. Billy. Well, Billy hiding behind your father there. Okay. And also Billy's wife. She got to be a good woman to put up with my brother. And look, the last thing I want to say is we forgot to mention Eddie Cleanhead Benson. Anybody remember him? Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you very much. See you later.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Wardell.
Okay,
Mr. Billy?
Well, I thank you very much for coming. I want to remember the Red Tops Band. I saw Mr. Anderson Hardwick recently, and there are so many people that started right here. Wardell has really covered a lot, but the one thing that we must remember is that my father, Tom Wentz, struggled. When Charles Kuralt came to Vicksburg many years ago before his death, he asked Daddy, he said, well, that was during the segregated days. He said, well, regardless of when it was, you have to be colorblind, but you have to love entertaining people. You have to love the desire to want to show people that there's a better way other than being angry at one another. And so if my father was here today, I can tell you right now, you'd have to have several crying towels because Daddy would be so happy about this day. This event, believe me, it surpasses anything that the Wentz family had ever thought would be. When we were contacted that this would happen, I think I cried for 2 days. But I'm so proud and so humble, and thank you all for coming here and being part of this. Even though I'm short, Daddy was short too, but he was taller than me. But today, he's as tall as that building. And when you think about the Blue Room, it was about as 3 stories high. And when you walk in, you would see the skyline, the Blue Room. And going through the door is the Blue Room. And then to the right was the Blue Spot. And then to the left was the Circle, which was a restaurant. But then upstairs, that was the grand thing that Daddy really concentrated on. Wardell mentioned that Louis Armstrong came to Vicksburg, and Daddy told Charles Kuralt when he came and interviewed him, he said, I knew more than just black people would come, so he made a special place in the skyline for the white folks. And he said that they had so much of a good time. And it's true that Daddy, his dedication to detail, his devotion to wanting to entertain. But he loved blues, he loved jazz, he just loved good entertainment. There was nothing funny about my father because he just was real. And so I thank you for acknowledging him and acknowledging the Blue Room, because without him, I don't think that much entertainment would have come to either the state of Mississippi or the city of Vicksburg. God bless you all, and thank you.